My name is Dan Dorran, Umatilla County Commissioner, and I'm here with Lori Smith this morning for our very first edition of Conversation with Umatilla County Commissioners. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce Lori as the new executive assistant for the county commissioners. So as you enter the offices of the commissioners, Lori is your first person that you see. She's the one who does all the scheduling for us, make sure that all of our paperwork's straight, and make sure that the county is flowing expertly. So she's actually our brains and keeps all three commissioners in line, keeps our schedules put together, and is the one who gets angry with us when we try to do our own scheduling and make our own calendars. So when I tell you that, yes, I'll set this on my calendar, I really, really do mean it, but it doesn't mean that Lori might not override it. I have to get back to you. So anyway, welcome, Lori. Welcome to the
Thank
commissioner's
you.
office. What do you think so far in the first 2 months?
I think it's been great. Not only is it the commissioners, but I work really closely with county council, and he's been nothing but gracious towards me, and so is the commissioners with this learning curve. So I'm liking it a lot so far.
Well, thank you. Well, what's the goal of the conversation with Umatilla County? We want to make sure that we have as many avenues and as many options possible for that the folks in Umatilla County can learn how Umatilla County works. One of the things, and people have heard me say this before, is one of the number one question I got on the campaign trail 3 years ago was, what does Umatilla County do? People don't realize how much Umatilla County is involved in their life, even when they don't know it. Everything from wedding certificates to tax assessments to plotting of your property, land division, zoning, all the way to emergency management to just numerous other things that really do involve your life on a daily basis, whether you're driving on a county road or wondering why you have a pothole and who to call. So in the near future, as we schedule each of these conversations with Umatilla County, what we're going to do is schedule individual department heads so that as the process goes on, we will be able to spend 15 to 20 minutes with each department head and let them actually explain what's going on in their departments, whether it be economic development, land use planning, all of the different aspects of Umatilla County. Umatilla County is over 3,200 square miles, 1,700 miles of road. It's a big county. And so with that comes a lot of responsibilities that each of our departments have. As Lori can tell you, they are frequent visitors to our offices because each of the commissioners have liaison assignments. And as these conversations with Umatilla County proceed, we'll go into that a lot more, and so that people understand how the system works in Umatilla County. We don't have a county manager or a county administrator, so each county commissioner is the liaison or the administrator for each one of those departments. It's kind of a learning curve for even everybody in the county courthouse. Lori, you were in HR before you moved over to the commissioner's office. How do you handle all of the different aspects without having a central manager or a central administrator?
I think one of the big things that all departments rely on is being able to have that open communication amongst each other. So even though I'm no longer in HR, I have open communication with, the staff in HR. Same with, our planning staff. I'm no planning expert, but they're always more than happy to help us or any other department with any questions. That goes for all of the departments. So I think that's really how we run smoothly, is because we're able to work together and have that open communication.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to put it, Lori. So with that, and to dovetail into what does the county do, We've made a few minor changes. We started before a couple of before Cindy came on board, Commissioner Timmons, but she's been very involved in along with Commissioner Schaefer in the changes as they take effect. Number one is branding and logo. Umatilla County, since 1862, the commissioners had not voted on a logo for Umatilla County. There were always some common ones used between the different departments in the different areas, but never a consistent one. And we've had everything from, like, I won't be able to name all of them, from the wagon train to the chief, um, to the clock tower, to many different ones. Well, in the last year, we had an internal group committee that really took a very deep dive into our logo, into our branding, and how those are used, including a style book, so that we're consistent with it. But as you can see in our background, the new county logo was voted on by the commissioners and is actually our official logo seal at this point. And now, after it's been adopted, we have taken the advantage, the opportunity to decal vehicles, flags. The letterhead is changing throughout the departments. You will see some co-branding, Umatilla County Health, but it'll also have an identifier for Umatilla County and the logo consistent across. So as you see public works trucks or graders or loaders, you'll start seeing, if you haven't already, the new logos that are on the sides of those vehicles and rigs. And so that's been a big step for us. We've really enjoyed that. You were a big part of that committee.
Yeah. Commissioner Dorran, can you just sort of touch on what the overall goal of the rebranding is for the county, like what we're trying to achieve from that?
Yeah, that was really one of the basics of the effort to start with. Is we're trying to make sure that people understand how involved the county is in the different aspects of the operations and how we move forward in the county. So if you see an emergency management vehicle with our logo, you'll also see the same logo on our public works truck and our same logo on a maintenance truck or a facilities truck, or the same on a tax assessor's car. Uh, we want people to understand that all of those chores and tasks that are getting performed are from the same group. It's the county's taxpayers that are funding these different operations. Um, to a big degree, but it also, even though we have grant funded programs like Public Works that works off of, gets reimbursed by the number of registrations in the county, there's still a department of Umatilla County. Uh, Along with Umatilla County Health is a department of Umatilla County, even though they're largely funded by the Oregon Health Association, but it's still a department that um, um, works directly under the commissioners, has a commissioner liaison um, for the county. So the overall goal, and there's been a couple of really nice things that happened, Lori. First of all, just the pride of the employees. Say, I'd like to say it's secondary, but it's really been kind of a motivator and source of pride for all of the employees in Umatilla County, and to listen to each of them say thank you and participate and be involved. Hopefully that I didn't string that out. As people will come to find out, I can ramble on one subject, but that one, hopefully that got to the answer and makes it easier for the folks in Umatilla County to understand, even though it isn't a big expense, all of the cars will be done decal for less than $10,000. The changing of stationery and that type of stuff is done on a rotational basis. But for a very small expense, we have moved the county many steps forward. Um, to help the many people in Umatilla County understand what and why we do it, and with a large sense of pride.
Yeah, and I feel like there's some other ways that the county is trying to, push ourselves forward with some of our updated technology and some of our updated systems. I know our planning department got a new mapping system online, which is super helpful for people to go and see anything you want to touch on with some of the updates that sort of planning has been doing.
Oh, I'm not gonna not gonna say that we were prehistoric or even primitive, because we weren't. There were a lot of areas that had started to move into the 20th century, even though we may be one century behind. We're catching up extremely fast. Umatilla County has made has established the movement into the digital world uh, kind of a top priority, and we'll get back to that because I do want to touch on, before our time's up today, on strategic planning and where we are on that with the commissioners. But back to the question on how do we move forward? We have the finance department that's been working off of very well done but modified Excel spreadsheets forever, and that just the information on those and the security of that information is not really huge. And so we actually are in the process of implementing a new software package for our finance department, and HR and other areas in the county that are affected by that. Everything from time cards to payroll processing to bookkeeping to purchase order systems and vendor relations. It's going to be huge. It's going to make all the difference in the world. If you ever watched our finance department and how labor intensive it is, it's probably not. It's just not it's not the most effective way to use very talented people, that's for sure. And that new system's starting to come on board. It'll take a few months, but it's coming on board. Our assessment and taxation with our GIS and GIS mapping, that new software is coming on board and taking advantage of updated software that's already in the system, but can really become a challenge to make sure that the systems are compatible with other systems throughout the state, actually even throughout the county, because it's important that each of the counties are able to communicate. We're not the furthest behind, but we're definitely not the furthest ahead. So that's a great question. It's something very near and dear to me. It was one of the things when I first came on as a commissioner that I was a little underwhelmed with, was the how far that our county was into the digital ages, for lack of a better term, but also just in operations. So I think that we will be seeing much, much, I'm going to say more rapid and larger steps in that direction. Uh, the one thing about the digital world, as soon as we get caught up, we're probably going to be behind again. And I would like to see us make that a priority, to make sure that we are up to speed and we're taking advantage of all of the tools out there to make sure that all of our departments are as productive and as efficient as possible. And that's the best way to serve the folks in Umatilla County. We're a county of 80,000 people now. We're not a county of 20,000, and we have to grow as we grow up, and to take advantage and to serve that size of a mass of people just takes different tools than it did to serve 10 or 20,000 people. That's for sure. Great question. Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, as we sort of wrap up here, just sort of let us know, like you mentioned, all the commissioners have commissioner liaison assignments. Do you want to sort of touch on what your liaison assignments are?
Yeah, I can do that really quickly. And then one other subject before we go, but yes, my liaison assignments, and hopefully we can get each of the commissioners down here to go through these on each of them. One of mine start with the sheriff's department, which includes dispatch, emergency management, um, really everything law enforcement. And then public works, so all the road department, and within that is transportation. So we're looking at some transportation initiatives, and we will get into that in the future because we have some very special initiatives going on right now. Um, Assessment and taxation, very important. The, Before I go any further, I need to say is each one of these departments are led by very, very qualified people. So it's not like I am an administrator on top of each one of them each day. Yes, we have very frequent conversations every week, but these are very, very qualified people to handle these departments. As a liaison, it's my job to make sure that they know what's going on in other parts of the county so that we stay efficient and we don't silo each area. Um, Public planning, which has changed to community development. So now community development actually includes everything from economic development, community services, public lands, land use planning, zoning, all of those fall under community development. Now, that change was just after the first of the year, and that area is very fast paced, as all of them are. But right now we're in that transition, includes everything down to tourism. So we're in that transition and coming up to speed with that. Natural resources. So I have water, mostly water quality, but it includes everything from like the lower Umatilla Basin groundwater management area, which is it kind of touches and deals directly with the nitrate issues in Umatilla and Morrow County, so very deep into that. But other natural, the Walla Walla River, South Fork, and the Walla Walla River. We have levee issues. We have interchanges with and exchanges with the tribes on different issues. So that's another big area. Um, Umatilla County Fair. I always like to say that's the funnest one, but sometimes that also can get to be complex and complicated with the way the funding comes for county fairs in Oregon. And then let's not forget that just all three of us have to be advocates for the county, and legislation and legislatively um, very, very much involved. I think I've testified already 7 times on 7 different bills in Salem, and I don't see that slowing down until close to the end of the session. And then, like Commissioner Schaefer is very much involved with the Association of Oregon Counties, a trade association that represents all the counties in Oregon. And then we have other assignments that deal with some of the 12 municipalities in Umatilla County, and it's a challenge. And I think that all three of us take them on head on, and really try to make sure that even though we may not agree on everything, as we put the different pieces together operationally for the county, that we try to make sure that they fit as close to a puzzle as possible. It doesn't always work out that way, but it's as close as I think that you can get. I think that our commissioners have worked well together. We look around the state, and there may not be quite as much harmony as there is here. That's not to say we agree on everything, because we don't. But I think we always try to strive first for a path that is best for the people of Umatilla County, no matter what our different and personal opinions are.
Well, I want to say thank you, Commissioner Dorran, for being able to, sort of start us off with
Yeah,
our new
I think
podcast.
it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun, Lori. You've done an amazing job here of setting this up. I look forward to this. I already am looking forward to the next one.
Yeah,
And thank you very much for
yeah, you're very welcome.
nice setup.
Yeah, well, we want to thank you everyone for listening in and viewing, and we will definitely be getting some more of these out there. And like Commissioner Dorran mentioned, we want to get some department heads in here and some of the two other commissioners, and um, get just sort of create that transparency with the public, and that is definitely our goal with this. So,
That's exactly right. Don't forget Facebook page,
yep.
Twitter page, and Instagram.
Yep, we have all three of those. And what I'll do is I'll link that in our YouTube channel as well. So that's easily accessible for everyone. We're really just, like I said, we're really trying to create that transparency of, what is the commissioners doing? What is the county doing as a whole? And that is definitely our goal with all of this social media and the podcast. And yeah.
And just before we went on air today, we were talking about Ask Your Commissioner at umatillacounty.gov. Hopefully that'll be live soon, and anybody that has a question can just send it in to Umatilla County. Or if you're not comfortable talking to a commissioner directly, just send it to Ask Your Commissioner at umatillacounty.gov.
Yep. And then we'll get those answered and sent to the correct people. So,
or even if it's a great question on the podcast.
Yep, perfect.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.